Okay, so these are the three people I have listening. That's Emma, that's Antonia, and then that's my dad. Okay, so here's that. Okay, so Okay, so have y'all ever wondered how embryo transfer works? Well, I'm going to explain to you how embryo transfer and mayors work. So before I get started today, I want y'all to become familiar with two terms. There's donor mayor and recipient mayor. Okay, so the donor mayor is the actual mayor that you're wanting to breed. So this mayor whose embryo is going to be flushed after fertilization, and the foal will have the bloodline of this dam. The dam is the mare, who is the mother of the foal. So this is the mare who is actually donating her embryo to the recipient mare, hence the term donor mare. The recipient mare is the mare in which the embryos will be transferred into. This mare will actually carry and birth the foal just like a regular mother. So this foal, will have no genetics from this mare whatsoever. Even though it came out of her, she had it just like a regular baby, it will have no genetics from her whatsoever. So embryo transfer is becoming more and more common nowadays because of the fact that people are wanting to breed their mares without giving them that time off, and they don't want to stop their competitive careers. So this is the alternative, and still wanting to get a good foal out of this mare without giving her that downtime. So the first step in this process would be the synchronization of the cycles and flushing. So getting the two mares on the same cycle. This is absolutely the most critical part of this process. It is the most important for a successful embryo transfer procedure. This takes extensive hormone treatments and able to get both mares cycling on the same day. So that's if you have two mares that technically aren't in the same pasture, you can get them cycling on the same day by giving them these hormones. Or some people may choose to do it the natural way and just get two mares out of the same pasture, who will more than likely be cycling on the same day since they're in the same pasture together. However, if the natural way is chosen, it's recommended to have more than one recipient mare to choose from because if you only have one, it's likely to not be cycling on the same exact day. So you want several mares to choose from to be able to choose from and then pick the one closest cycling to the donor mare. Okay, so once the mares are on the same cycle, the donor mare must then be fertilized by artificial insemination, or once again the natural way by the stud himself. Once the donor mare is fertilized, the embryo will then start to develop in the oviduct and then enter the uterus 5 to 6 days after ovulation. Day 6 is the earliest day for embryo collection, and the mare will then be flushed of her embryos from her uterus. So step 2, once the donor mare is flushed, the embryos can then either be frozen or transferred directly into the recipient mare. If chosen the freezing state, this only means the embryo is converted into a glass-like state, and it can be used at a later time if the owner chooses to either transfer them into a mare a couple years down the road using that same embryo. It can stay frozen, or if they decide to sell it later. So if they have a really nice mare, they might get a lot of money for that embryo. Freezing embryos only works when the embryo is 6 to 6.5 days old, and they can stay frozen for years and years. According to Krista Lasser in the article Embryo Transfer from One Mare to Another on thehorse.com, she states equine embryos do not tolerate being frozen, as well as other species such as cattle do. Protrusions around the embryo trap water, which expands when frozen. and can damage the embryo. Pregnancy rates after embryo freezing is about 25% as opposed to 80% pregnancy rate following fresh embryo transfer. However, most times the embryo is transferred directly into the recipient mare. This can either be done surgically or non-surgically. In the surgical method resulting in a higher pregnancy rate, the surgeon will make an incision in the recipient mare's flank, locate the uterus, and exteriorize the uterine horn. The non-surgical way very closely resembles the artificial insemination procedure. And then the final step, finally, of the embryo transfer process is the gestation period. Once the embryo is transferred into the recipient mare's uterus, she will then go through her normal gestation period. Gestation periods for mares is 325 days, which is approximately 11 months. So, in conclusion, the embryo transfer process must be well planned and thought out procedure, enable to have a successful pregnancy. Getting both mares on the same cycling, fertilizing the donor mare, and then waiting 6 days, and then flushing and transferring her embryo, into the recipient mare, and then letting her carry out her normal gestation period. If any of the first 3 steps are just a tad bit off, both mares, you will fail at having a pregnancy. You will have a very unsuccessful pregnancy. And that is why it is critical to make sure everything is perfect while going through this process. Thank you for your time. And I have to show y'all again. So there's Emma and Aunt Tanya and my dad. Okay, that's it.